Well, in this video I'm going to be taking a look at this. Another locomotive.
In this video, I'm going to be taking a look at the Atlas Master Silver Series SD-24 in the Union Pacific scheme. I purchased this locomotive at a train show earlier this year for $55. It was marked new, but there's some light wear on the to the coating of the wheels there, indicating to me at least that it's been ran before I acquired it anyway, at least a couple times. Nevertheless, this is a really nice model, and it was weathered by another person at some point in its life. And it seemed like it was a good deal to me anyway. The weathering's okay, but I think some light powder, some light weathering powders there will really help it out a little bit there. But anyway, let's go ahead and have a close-up look at this Atlas SD-24. Atlas, in my opinion, did a very nice job with the detail on this locomotive. The UP armor and gray-yellow scheme seems about right to me as far as the shade of the yellow and gray is concerned. The lettering is also really nice in this locomotive, even down to the small labeling along the side. They did a really nice job getting that there. For such a cheap locomotive, it's amazing what they did with this thing. The one thing that even more expensive brands seem to leave out from time to time is the detail on the walkways. Atlas again here did a really superb job with this. The tread detail is great on this thing. Even the steps have the holes there to resemble a graded step there. None of that, smooth plastic, painted plastic stuff here, folks, on there. This is the kind of detail that, you expect from a $200 locomotive or more, not something that's like in the $100 price range, which these things usually are. Less, of course, if you find one of these at the train show or like I did, or, in eBay Warrior and find one for a good price. As far as the roof detail goes, well, Atlas didn't skimp here either. Just take a look at those tanks and the piping detail up there. The separate fan blades, lift rings, very nice rivet detail. And the venting details, the vents there, that's all really nice up there. Well, as far as the handrails go, that seems just about right to me. It's thin plastic. There's, thin plastic, there's always a chance of breaking or bending the plastic, and they seem pretty decent to me. I don't feel like they're, they don't feel like they're brittle and that they're going to pop out. But I usually take care not to handle the locomotive by the handrails anyway, if at all possible. Thin and, from my anyway, they look pretty prototypical to the real thing there. They look about right to me. Can't forget about the grab irons either, and there's definitely quite a few of them on this locomotive, and they're very nice again, nice and thin and small, and they just look right to me. And of course, well done truck detail here. So now let's take a look at the front and the rear of this locomotive. We can see here that the detail is definitely done well here again. We got the coupler cut levers and the air hoses and and brake hoses and more grab irons, and it's really nice up here. This is another area that some manufacturers tend to skimp on up here. You know, they'll put some air hoses and that's about it, or something like that. But they did a nice job with these things. This locomotive is really, as far as the detail and the painting is concerned, is kind of in a Genesis MTH or even Intermountain area there. It's really nice. For half the price, or in the case of this one, a quarter of the price, it's really seems like a really good buy to me. No, I forgot to mention there are cab figures in this, and here they are right here. Pre-painted and installed into the shell. Atlas at least was kind enough not to give us a ghost locomotive to run around the layout. So as far as the removal of the shell is concerned, it's very easy. You just remove the couplers, give it a squeeze, and just lift it. That's pretty much all there is to it. And with the shell off, we can see what's inside of this thing. Atlas provided a place to mount a decent-sized speaker on the back. Currently there's a weight in their place in here. This is the way they come. This is a DC only unit. It is equipped with a mobile decoder socket there. So I will be installing this Digitrax DN136PS mobile decoder here. Also bought this at the train show, by the way. I usually stick to Soundtrax mobile decoders only because all but a couple of my sound equipped locomotives are Soundtrax. And I like to keep the brands the same, but this one was a couple of dollars cheaper, and I wanted to give this little guy a try. It's a very small decoder, and I like that because it fits better into the shell. There's a decent amount of weight to this locomotive. It looks like they filled just about every spot they could with metal. So, I have yacked on now about the detail and even what's under the body shell. Well, that's all fine and dandy, but how does it run? Well, I'm glad you asked, because that's exactly where we're going next in this review. First off, let's go ahead and take a look at the lights. These are LED, as a matter of fact, and I think, again, Atlas did a really good job with these. They look like a nice, bright, incandescent halogen bulb to me, rather than that cold white or blue LED that other manufacturers seem to like to put in their locomotives. I had never quite figured that one out. And that's a big thumbs up for me personally. I like that prototypical incandescent looking bulb, you know, not the white or the blue or the orange. I just, you know, the deep orange. I like that incandescent looking. Atlas really nailed it here on this. They did a really, they used a good bulb there on this thing. Run by test. Well, when I do a run by test, I like to have the locomotive pulling an actual load. It doesn't have to be anything big, but a few cars on the hook, so to speak, is a good test, because that is how most people will be running these things, and it shows how smooth it is under load at speed step 1, speed step 2, or whatever. The camera picks up noise when set near or on the rails from the DCC controller. It's a bit like the same noise that you hear in the DC only locomotive when you set it on DCC rails and you turn it on, you get ee kind of a sound. But you'll still be able to hear the motor noise in these pass-bys. We're doing 1 speed step at the start, 5 in reverse, and then finally going up to about 30 or 35 speed steps in the remaining run-bys here, so that you kind of get an idea what the motor sound is like at slow speed and at more of a higher speed. So let's have a look at that, and you can see for yourself how smooth it is and how noisy it is.
So it's time for the final thoughts portion of this video. It's actually been a few months since I recorded all that footage, so I'll give you guys a little bit of an idea of how this thing has held up. Runs perfectly fine still. It's been a good locomotive. Can't say I've ran it a whole lot, but you know, I don't go and fondle these things and pick them up and, you know, stuff like that. They sit on the layout for a while, and then, you know, they get pushed into the, you know, into the yard over there. But for a while, until I feel like running them again. So yeah, it's been a good locomotive. I haven't had any problems with it. The decoder seems to be working pretty good. I like the decoder. I think it's pretty much the same thing as what you get with the soundtracks, mobile decoders. And yeah, I like the LED lighting this thing has. One thing I did forget to mention in the video as I was editing it there, and I came to this portion of the video that I needed to record. Everything in the cab is blacked out. You don't see any of the light protruding through the number boards or anything like that. So Atlas did a great job there as well. So, you know, for $100, $120 even, these things are really worth the price. You know, compare that to a Athearn Ready to Run or even a Bachmann. You know, it's a great value. I would say that you know, like I said in the video, these things are, to me, they're at least Genesis quality when it comes to the detail, and they run good. Motors are a little noisier, but in reality the camera was like 2 inches away from the locomotive just to make it, you know, come out better on the camera. So when you're actually standing here running it on layout, it's really not that noisy. It's definitely nowhere near as noisy as a Bachmann motor, I'll tell you that. But yeah, so I think that'll do it for this review of this Atlas, and I do have another Atlas Silver Master Series that I'm going to review. It's a U30C Phase 3 that I also got at that train show, and that's a really nice locomotive as well. So I've got planned to do a review of the Lifelike, and in the very near future, maybe the next video that I review, hopefully, will be the new released version of the Athearn Genesis Big Boy 4014. I'm going to be getting another one of those guys. So, stay tuned for that review. And until next time, this is Nick. Have a good day. We'll see you next time. Hi there, this is Nick. I really hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, please give it a big old thumbs up. And if you have any comments, go ahead and leave them down below. If you don't want to miss out on my next video upload, go ahead and hit that subscribe button now. You know you want to. Come on, it's just right there.